on the sense that, you're saying there, but there's some games you just know that they can't keep clean sheets. The Spurs-Liverpool game coming up, Spurs just cannot buy a clean sheet at the moment, and so there I would be, more inclined to take a Spurs player out, bench him, someone like Aurier, and then just go heavy on Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other differential is that if you've got, maybe you've got a subpar striker, but then you've got a defender who's well in the assists, that's probably the only occasion where you'd probably favour the defender than, let's say, the striker or goal scoring midfielder. But I think universally of the lads said you just keep them in your team because you never know how what they're going to crop up with. All well and good, they could kind of they could concede, but if you've got a defender that manages to get you an assist, then it's still vital points.
Yeah, and really by now the defenders that are getting assists.
Exactly.
I mean, even if they get one or two, they might get a third. If someone's a defender who's gotten 0 assists all season, probably shouldn't be in your team firstly, but also wouldn't probably bench him. So NVD, that was lovely. Thanks for rounding it out. That's a good point as well. I think there's a consensus there, Una, for you that you should really play both unless one team is far superior to the other, at which point you make sure the weaker team, you get the defender out. What about if the weaker team, let's say Norwich are playing Liverpool and you've got Pukki, would you bench Pukki knowing that you've got going the other way there?
I mean, it's a difficult one. I think, again,
he's unlikely to score, right?
He is unlikely to score, yeah. But then, it all comes down to options. I mean, what are your other options?
Yeah.
If Pukki's your only best striker, then you're clearly doing something wrong in the fantasy football.
But then that's the consensus again, is you go with them both in case you miss out in the majority of time. So that's the general rule, Una.
Oh, thank you, boys. I'm going to tell all the mums of the Leicester City players about the podcast. I love it. I love listening to it. Thank you, boys. Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Thanks a lot for phoning in. And I really hope that James managed to do it this week as well, your boy. So good luck to him.
Super. Thank you for calling in. Best of luck to James Maddison for the rest of the week. And yourself, Una. Go get yourself a gin and tea and we'll get back to the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Something's tickled Pellegrini. Okay, gents, moving on then. So we have approached that time, game week 22. Look ahead as to who are the players to have, where are the points, where are the cleanies, where are the assists, where are the goals. And one of the games that I think, Ricky Pellegrini, you were going to start with and take us through was your beloved Hammers resurgence under Moyes and they're at Sheffield United. What's that looking like?
Yeah, well, there's a bit of bad blood between Sheffield United and West Ham. I don't know if you remember a few years ago the whole Tevez scandal. He wasn't illegally supposed to be bought by West Ham, and Sheffield United end up getting relegated that season and sending them down. So he essentially saved us from going down. It was actually a goal against Man United in the last day of the season. I don't know if you remember.
That's right, I remember that.
And then he bit someone.
It was a very at Old Trafford as well.
That was Chewy Suarez, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Last day of the season. Last day of the season came up. So there's bad blood between us. They basically got a good result at the London Stadium earlier this season. It was 1-1, and this head-to-head at Bramall Lane. We know Sheffield United do well at home, right? Most of their wins have come at home. They're hard to break down. They haven't had the best of run, the last few games. With West Ham on the back of that Bournemouth 4-0 victory, obviously we want to consolidate on top of that. We well in the FA Cup, all right. It was only Gillingham, but it's the confidence is high for the Hammers.
What was the score against the Gills?
It was only 2-0.
It's a good result.
But good result. Again, just the confidence. That's what you need when you're in a relegation scrap. It's all about the confidence, right? We've got the players. We know that they can play. We know we can score goals, but it's keeping those clean sheets. I think it's going to be a tough game. The other thing to note as well about this game is Fredericks got injured at the weekend on the FA Cup, and he's going to be a big loss. We don't really have much coverage. We've got Zabaleta, who will come in at right back, unless he decides to play one of the centre backs on the wide role, or Antonio as a wing back. So that'll be interesting to see the lineup come on Friday. And obviously, don't forget, listeners, that is the early kickoff.
Yeah, it's Friday the 10th, isn't it? It's a Friday game,
exactly.
So make sure you get
8 p.m. UK time and 3 p.m. Eastern time in the States. So I'll be watching that. Hopefully, sneak off earlier at work if I can, and it should be a good game. But I see this being a close game. I do fancy the Hammers though.
Ricky, we got a rambling. It's your, I just got the phone ring. It's your boss, mate. I think he's been listening live. He said you're trying to sneak off. Sneaky Hammer. No, we'll keep that, mate. You don't sneak off. That's unlike you. But mate, so you got David Moyes though. Do you think the David Moyes factor is going to be a big thing here? Do you think Sheffield United will beat West Ham, or you think your guys will do it?
I mean, we were saying last week, right, that a lot of West Ham fans weren't very happy with David Moyes coming in. Obviously, it's not the most exciting appointment, but I'm hoping he'll do the job, keep us solid, keep us more consistent. We have to keep clean sheets, and I do think it will go down to the later stages of the season. It's going to be tight. As you look at the league, it is very tight. 1 or 2 wins can really shoot you up to even 10. And then the opposite way round, you're right back in a relegation scrap as well. But I'm hoping that we've got the quality there to really have a go at Sheffield United.
So what do you think the score is going to be?
I reckon it's going to be 2-1 to the Hammers. I reckon Sheffield United will nick a goal.
And who are the valuable players here? Snodgrass, Haller the Hammer?
I think Haller the Hammer. I also think Felipe Anderson. He's started to sort of show some positive signs, and he's also
first goal of the season though last week.
Yeah. That's right, and he's employed him just behind Haller as well. So not so much on the wing as his traditional position. He's employed him just behind Haller, so he's almost playing like a second striker.
That's quite
that number
smart.
10 role. Yeah, so kind of free flowing, attacking midfielder. So I think he's going to be involved with that goal. So I can see Haller and Felipe Anderson. Sheffield United, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Lundstrom gets on a score sheet, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 2-1 I reckon.
Okay, great, mate. The only thing I would say on that, Sheffield United coming into that on the back of 2 defeats, didn't score in either of those games. I think they're going to be desperate to try and put that right, and are really going to go gung-ho, I feel, to get a goal. So I think it's going to be a really tasty and tough one for West Ham. I do think, I don't want to say you're going to lose, but I think Sheffield United could score a few. Could be a 2-2. Yeah. Up top for Sheffield United, you just never know who's going to score. They've got too many options up there, so it's hard to put your money on a Sheffield United player. But Lundstrom, I like that call out. That's what I'd say.
I think there's people getting rid of Lundstrom, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I read a few people this week that said his time was up. Yeah, so
I just think the fact that the boy plays in defence and he actually plays in midfield, he's such a good squad player for me.
So I mean, it's net out at the moment. 36,000 people pulling him in, and 46,000 putting him out. So.
Interesting.
There is. I mean, yeah, they've got West Ham this week, but then you're coming up after that. You've got Arsenal. Okay, it's debatable whether they're actually going to do anything. And then you've got City as well, who are going to score goals. So maybe thinking ahead, but yeah, surprised. I'll be keeping him in my team.
That's interesting. The other thing I think we've got to just call out there is West Ham play twice in game week 24.
Same with Liverpool.
Yeah, same with Liverpool. Not this game week or the next one, but the one after. So that's the 21st of Jan. I mean, it's
not a bad shout to have some, if
Hammers and Liverpool players, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm sure most template teams will have Liverpool players in, but with West Ham, if they start this renaissance under Moyes, then it's a good shout to get some.
And I mean, the games are far enough apart that, West Ham play on the 22nd of Jan, and then they play Liverpool on the 29th, so they'll keep a full-strength team. Difficult thing for West Ham is they play Leicester on the 22nd, which isn't easy, at Leicester.
Yeah.
Then they got Liverpool, so they're not nice games for West Ham.
But at the same time, you could always look at, players like Haller, for example. They could be good shouts, like you said. Like Pella said, Felipe Anderson returning to form. He was great last season for FPL managers. So
but do keep that in mind.
Result, you never know, because we did get nick a result against Liverpool last season, and it was actually it was their banana skin last season, if you remember, Neil.
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate.
It was a tough game. We played really well at the stadium. So to be honest with you, Liverpool are doing so well. They're untouchable this season. So I don't see a repeat of that. But you never know, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, great, guys. Moving on to another game. I want to look at Manchester United versus Norwich. I'm going to quickly talk about this one. I think United, for me, have got to beat Norwich. They're off the back of the Arsenal game. They got a poor result there. 2-0, didn't look like we were in the game at all. Then we played Wolves in the FA Cup. Not convincing. Not bad, though. We had a few chances, but we did let Wolves in with a few shots as well. But we hit the bar ourselves. Matt had a great free kick. I think, for me, United, Norwich, I look at this and I cannot see United losing to Norwich. It's just surely not possible.
Yeah, I agree with this, and I got Rashford in my team, and even though I've been speaking ill of him because of his last performance, and it's been indifferent, I'd be reticent to kind of move him out, to be honest. I can see him scoring. Like you said, it's at home. Even though Norwich are trying to push, and I'm sure they will, to Man United, but I just think Man United would be too much for them.
I think the big thing is Norwich are bottom of the table. They've let in 41 goals, the most in the league out of anybody. And other than the Arsenal game, the 2 weeks before, I was telling you guys that Man United are making chances and we are getting shots. And I think this is a sort of, if there's ever such a given result, I would say it was this, although we played Watford when they were bottom of the table and we lost. But that was the new manager syndrome.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that Norwich are in big trouble. I do think they're going to go down. So I'm going to, just tell everyone that Martial is a risk for this. He's 75% chance of playing from illness, but I reckon he'll be back. He's worth it for me. Rashford, definitely. And I'm going to call out Greenwood. I think that Ollie is starting to enjoy Greenwood, starting to play him in the lesser games almost. So he's not ever present in the Premier League, but he may come on. But for me, Rashford and Martial are the two for United.
Do you think the fact that Man United play midweek against Man City in the FPL Cup, do you think that affects your team selection, or do you think that they will go with the younger team in the FPL Cup? Do they even have a good enough younger squad to go with? And do you think that they'll be looking at that for some sort of success?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's going to be
no one wants to lose a derby in your home ground at Old Trafford, no matter what the competition.
Absolutely not. And that game's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So I do think it gives us enough time to play that game and recover. One thing I saw Jurgen Klopp, mentioning is that Milner got injured after 8 minutes in the FA Cup, and he felt it's the heavy period where there's too many games that have been played. I don't expect United to play a full strength team against City, although that said, it's probably our best chance for some silverware at the moment, and we would love to beat them. But also, United don't have that much depth at the moment. We've got a few players out injured. We might be forced to play the same team, defensively. We'd probably have to play the same team, but either way, I can't see Rashford being rested against Norwich, and I can't see Martial. They're our two most dangerous players. We really want fourth spot, so I think they'll both play. So that's my feelings. I'm going to actually go a 3-0 win against Norwich.
Wow,
going to give us a cleanie.
I think you'll be disappointed next week.
I'm setting myself up for disappointment. I'm not surprised if I am disappointed, but I can't see it. United going to win. Another game I want to touch upon, and NVD, your beloved Liverpool. Spurs-Liverpool is surely the juiciest game of the week.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs, we've all called it out in terms of Mourinho coming in. He's not had some magical wand to improve their defence. I think it's been quite shocking, to be honest, and certain results have unfortunately not even gone their way, to be honest. And I think it's actually a decent time to play him. I think Kane, hobbling off is always a good sign. He scored against us in the reverse fixture. I do feel that we will win this game, even though we've kept quite a few cleanies, and Gomez is really consolidating that defensive position with.
Sonny Boy will be back though. Sonny Boy's had a bit of a break. He'll be looking to run at you.
He will, but I just think our defence is pretty well set at the moment.
Looking really good, man.
And I think it's just ticking. To be honest, I think we've had a solid pair with.
Do you think you're going to get a clean sheet against Spurs?
No, I don't think so. I think this is the row of cleanies ends for us. I do think Spurs will score. It is going to come down to really between Son or Ali.
Not Eriksen?
No, I don't think so. I think more likely, to be honest, Son. But I think we're just going to be too much for him.
Just stepping back on Tottenham, if you do have Kane in your team, he's had over 350,000 transfers out this week already, still in 15.7% of teams. That's 11 million people are going to want to be freeing up. Who do they bring in instead? Is it Aguero? Do you go Aubameyang? Do you go cheap and go Danny Ings and spend the money somewhere else?
I won't go Aubameyang because I think he's out with illness, so who knows whether he's going to return for the game against Palace.
It's also difficult to go. It's also difficult to go with Aguero because Jesus and Aguero just keep on.
Aguero played the FA Cup. Maybe he'll play tomorrow on midweek, and then he'll sit out in the Premiership. Who knows?
Are you sure Aubameyang is out? I mean, there's nothing reported here.
Well, I mean, he's at the moment, so I guess he hasn't trained.
Okay, so he might
but who knows whether he's still out by the weekend?
But they've got the goal scoring machine, Socrates.
I mean, the only other guy you could look at is Tammy Abraham, the Chelsea lad.
You think Tammy? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced. I mean, you could always then go back to Wolves. Jimenez has been fairly consistent. It's been,
true. Jimenez is looking good.
I think it's been like an off game week. Obviously, they lost against Liverpool, but you can always think
a goal and an assist in the last two. 2 for Tammy Abraham, but I do think that's a good shout, actually. Jimenez has been looking his old self almost. You know, he's got 8 goals this season, 6 assists. Pretty decent return.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I would personally go with Aubameyang. I know he might be out there. Is a slight risk, but I think he will be back for the weekend. And he is the captain for Arteta as well. He captained in his first game and seems to be building the team around him, really. So I would definitely, with those funds from Kane, Aubameyang would be my shout.
Yeah, you could go for Harry Kane's replacement as well. Parrott is his name. He's played once. He's got 1 point.